Here I am at the Troy University campus in the field house. I'm Barry McKnight. Adam Godwin on the screen below me, and Clint Robinson joining us from Arkansas. Both guys in, I think it's the 23rd of August, will be formally inducted into the Wiregrass Sports Hall of Fame. First of all, gentlemen, great to see you. I see Adam a pretty good bit, but always good to see you, Clint.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Now, Adam, of course, is on the baseball staff at Troy and has been now for several years. Clint and Adam played together in the '04 and '05 season for Troy baseball. Of course, Clint played in '06 and '07 as well. You both played together in those first 2 years. Of course, Adam had the big year in '04. I'm sorry, in '05, stealing the 84 bases. Clint, talk a little bit about watching him and, your thoughts about that guy that year. And now, 20 something years later, he's going to be in the Wiregrass Sports Hall of Fame.
I mean, it was pretty wild to watch then. I mean, you said it, 84 stolen bases and what is it, 56 games. So I mean, just it was the ultimate table setter for our team, and just you knew as soon as he got on first base, you might as well just let him go to second base because he's going to be in scoring position, and you didn't really have to do much at the plate. So to be hitting behind something like that was obviously fun. Those teams in that 4 year span put up some big numbers, and when you get guys on base like that, it's a big reason why. So there's a reason that he went on to pro ball and had success and got all the way up to where he got, and it was fun to watch.
Adam, your junior year was Clint's freshman year. I believe that's correct.
Okay.
Could you see it? I mean, could you tell that Clint was going to be a major leaguer and that he was going to have, the career that he had in pro ball?
Man, we all knew Clint was special. In comes this freshman donkey. We had a little Enterprise Northview connection going, so you're automatically off the jump. You're not supposed to like the guy, and like most freshmen, they come in and the upperclassmen are supposed to treat them a certain way. I think we all could look at each other and look at Big Clint and you knew he was special. You knew he was gonna be special. As much as you tried to rag on him, here's this freshman that's hitting in the meat of our order, driving in runs. And so we all kind of looked at each other after a while, just left him alone and let him do his thing.
Adam, let's keep it with you for just a moment. What does it mean to you? You're an Enterprise guy, went to Enterprise State, 2 years at Troy, and have been, integrally involved in Troy really ever since you finished pro ball. What does this honor mean to you? And what does Troy mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was kind of twofold. Obviously, in the middle of my career, you get something like this, you wrestle with it because you don't want anything to really be about you. So once you get past that, it was just tremendously honored. It was bigger than baseball when you get the call like that. You start thinking of your parents and amazing coaches along the way and teammates just like Clint. This journey started in Enterprise, but Tim Holsley, my junior college coach, and then go on a little bit further. It's the two greatest coaches that I was ever coached under, and Bobby Pearson, Mark Smart. I'll go to my grave. They're the two best combo that I've ever known and ever been around. So tremendously honored and just thankful for all the blessings that I've had and received over the years.
Quick story about Clint. Last I saw Clint, he's up in Northwest Arkansas, settled there with the family. Now, beautiful family. Got a chance to see you in the family last November. When you were up in the stands when Troy men's basketball played at Arkansas, and I'd sneak a peek every once in a while back there. You can tell, and the referees could probably tell too, just how much Troy still means to you, Clint.
Oh, I love it. When I got the opportunity for my kids, we don't get down to Alabama very often. They're young, they have school, they have life. But when we found out that Troy was coming in to play Arkansas, immediately we're jumping online, grabbing them some gear. My kids, they still wear their shirts all the time. They absolutely just want to get down and see the university and see all the growth that I know has gone on that I haven't been able to see yet. So I'm excited we're probably going to come down for Thanksgiving this year and stay with my mother who is in Dothan. So to be able to take them to Troy this coming fall is something we're really looking forward to. And it's just just a special place, something that, I was sitting there thinking when Adam was talking about, the senior class and his junior year and all that, I took so many things from Troy. I even took my current hairstyle because this was the first time I shaved my head was my freshman year when we shaved all the freshmen's head. I went ahead and just carried it on for the rest of my life. And now I can't grow hair like I used to. So I figured I was going to stick with it. So
Can you reinforce what Adam has said about the impact of Coach Pierce and Coach Smart?
absolutely. I mean, so just, not from just a baseball level, which, I carried so much of the way that they taught the game that, stuff that really isn't emphasized at the professional level nowadays, like just the selflessness of, when you get that runner at third base with less than 2 outs, your main goal is to hit that ground ball up the middle and get him in, stuff that doesn't show up analytically nowadays. I carried that with me stubbornly, maybe. I carried that with me through my whole career and just said, I didn't want to hear that when I had a situational at bat to hear that fail. I didn't internally, so I
no good,
yeah,
no good.
exactly. So little things like that, like I carried it all the way. But just like I was speaking to someone from Troy the other day, doing a small interview, and he was asking me about my memories, and I said, more importantly than the memories, it's just the little things that going to Troy taught me how to be an adult, taught me how to be responsible for myself, the friends that I made, the coaches I had, and just the ability to, carry those life lessons from Troy all the way to how I raise my kids today. Troy is just a very special place for me, and I try and keep a piece of it everywhere I go. In my home office, my office here that I work in, I've got my Troy little color changing Troy
Oh,
Clint thing.
nice.
I carry a piece of it with me, so it's a place that's very special to me, and I love it very much.
It's an interesting story, Adam Godwin, Clint Robinson. When you both got the call that you were going to be named and inducted into the Wiregrass Sports Hall of Fame, you didn't know about the other one. As a matter of fact, Clint, I think you said that Adam texted you, "Hey, congratulations," and you're a little bit skittish. I don't know that anybody's supposed to know. That had to have been kind of a special thing, right, Clint?
Absolutely. And, Adam said it best when he said, it's big for the program, to have two teammates and two Troy guys going in. They told me like, hey, until the press release comes out, try and keep it buttoned up. So I was, oh, thanks. He probably heard, he's connected in that area. And I said, oh, he probably just heard from somebody secondhand. And then when I saw the press release that he had gotten inducted, I had to text that, oh man, that's my bad. I had no idea. I should have put two and two together. So
He made an interesting statement, Adam, whenever he was named. He thought, yeah, again, about how much it must mean for Troy and how important it's going to be for him, how it might help recruiting. Well, you're on the Troy baseball staff. Stuff like that, do you think really helps build the program recruiting-wise and otherwise?
I do. I really do. I don't think anybody comes into this and says, "Oh, I'm going to be a Hall of Famer one day." I think that, you're just blessed and that winds up happening. You have great people around you and a support system, and it was really neat. It was really special. I kind of cheated halfway through the process after Mr. John Johnson and their team let us know. I reached back out to him and I just said, "Hey, I'm just curious. I just happened to ask, like, who else going in?" And he said, "Yeah, I can tell you." And then when he said Clint, it was really special. It made it even that more special. And in my mind, I thought, man, how great for Troy in this program and how special Clint was as a player and to be a big leaguer and a former big leaguer. All those things just started popping in my head as a recruiter, as a coach, as somebody that was built by the program. It just, okay, this is going to be really cool.
I got one more baseball question for both of you, and it relates to back when you were at Troy. Of course, Clint and Adam played together in 04, 05. Clint had big year in 06, big year in 07. And Adam, you know this. Clint, especially coming in, was the prototype for a first baseman. Big, tall, powerful, athleticism, left-handed. But Clint, they stuck you in the outfield after a couple of years. They put you in right. Why was that? Did it help you? And how well received was it at the beginning?
well, I mean, you heard that, AG. He said athleticism. I don't know but I mean, when you got guys like Josh Dew and bats that you have to keep in the lineup, you got to find a way. So, I mean, they did the same thing to me in pro ball. That's kind of how I made in the big leagues. They said in spring training, hey, we got to find a way to get your bat in the lineup. We're set at first base. you got to play the outfield. You got to keep that stickiness. So you just got to be serviceable. And that's what Coach Pierce, I know that's what he was trying to do. I don't know how serviceable I was. Hopefully I drove in more than I let in. But yeah, I mean, when you got clubs that put up big numbers like we did, you just had to find a way. So, offense was a premium there. So they made a spot for me.
Adam, got to ask you about this because people ask me about it all the time. Again, the '05 season, you led the nation in stolen bases. You stole 84, got thrown out 9 times. I still remember the 9. But what was the approach? I mean, did you have signs? Did you have a green light? What were you looking for? How did it happen?
I think we came into that, and it really something that started back in the fall. I kind of sat down with Coach Pierce and Coach Smart, and I said, hey, the previous year there had been signs put on to steal, and I knew that side, that was my game. I kind of knew who I was and my value for the team, and it just kind of went from the fall. They said, yeah, let's try something with no signs, and I wound up, I don't know, stealing like 25 bases, 30 bases in our little short fall season. It's almost like our little mini spring training, and it was something where we're kind of like, all right, we can roll with this with the guys behind me, and things started to flow. But then we got into the season, and none of us really kind of thought it would unfold like that. And I think, back then the analytics and some of the data, you just had it on paper, and teams obviously maybe knew that I was going, but they didn't know. I kind of fell into a groove where I would get on, the hardest base to steal was first, but I'd get on first, and then I'd go on back-to-back pitches. I actually worked out a deal with our 2-hole hitter, Blake Green. We joke about it now. I think I'd buy him a monster, if he would take so many pitches. And maybe I probably bought Clint some too as well, but wound up, rolling like that. And the big fellas behind us took care of the rest. And I think we just had confidence. I think that team had some swagger. We had outstanding coaches. We had an outstanding team. And so the chemistry of that all just kind of flowed. I'd like to take some credit, but I'm not going to do that. And I wasn't, near good enough to do something like that. So it was the guys behind me and just the momentum of it all.
Gosh, you think about it that long ago. I remember all of that like it was yesterday. Glad to be a part of it. Clint Robinson and Adam Godwin will be inducted formally into the Wiregrass Sports Hall of Fame at the Sterling Event Center down in Dothan on August the 23rd. I already know right down the hall, they've got a lot of Troy people that are planning on being there, that have bought tables and are ready to go and support you guys. We're awfully proud of you both. Thanks very much for the time.
Barry, AG, great to see you. I look forward to seeing you on a few weeks.
That sounds great.
Yeah, good to see you guys, even when you're bald head, Clint. Barry, thank you.